Welcome back. So let's look at the solutions for last week. We'll click on the T1 tab at the top of the page. On the right-hand side, you'll find the exercises. So go ahead and open that. It's a little bit slow. And before you can start, you also need to open up the Google Sheets. So I will click on the T1 formula. And initially, you will not be able to edit this document. If you read at the top, it says View Only. So you have two options after opening it. You can make a copy, okay, and it will create a copy of this in your own Google Drive. So it's the same document. The only difference is the original one, you will not be able to edit it. It's view only. It belongs to the professor. Don't bother requesting edit access. He's not going to give it to you. However, if you make a copy, you will see that you can go ahead, type anywhere, and make any changes you want. However, if you have Microsoft Office already installed on your computer, you can also download it as an Excel workbook. So I'll let you decide how you want to complete this work on the final exam. It's not going to make any reference to Excel or Google Sheets. It's really up to you. So I'm going to type here Excel, and I'm going to download this Excel workbook. And open it. Okay, now you might see this protected view at the top. Go ahead and click Edit, Enable Editing. Okay, just if you have any doubt, do a virus scan on the file and make sure it's safe, but I'm pretty sure this file is safe. All right, so let's look at the question now. So what you need to do is you need to first switch to the Orders tab. Okay, so let's look down here. We can see Orders right there. And similarly, if you're working in Google Sheets, you'll find it at the bottom. So either one is fine. Okay. And before we do anything, let's try to understand the data that we're working with here. So I see some items for sale. I see a price, the quantity. So for example, we're buying 4 of these papers and they cost £5, and we can see we can get a discount, and there's also a total. So I think this is pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and start doing the questions. So the first question is to adjust the width of column A so that you can see all the items in column A. And you can see here it's kind of cut off, so that's pretty straightforward. Just hover your mouse in between the two columns, click and hold, and stretch it out. Okay, and now we can readily read everything in column A. In question B, in cell D4, use a formula to calculate the cost based on the price and the quantity. So let's find D4. D4 is right there. Remember the cell address, D4. Okay, so obviously the subtotal here is going to be the price multiplied by the quantity. So it will be 20 British pounds, or if you prefer, $20. So put an equal sign in there. You always start a function or formula with an equal sign. And I can type this out. I can type D4, Okay, so, or sorry, C4. And to multiply, you do a star, and we're multiplying it by B4, which is the value, B4, and we can press enter there, and we get the correct value of 20 pounds. But it is actually easier to click on cells. So let me do this again. Equals, I'm going to click on B4, star for multiply, and then click on the quantity, and don't forget to press enter, and then it gives you the value. Let's go on to the next question, and then do an autofill down to row 10. Now, it would be a bit silly if we continue and do the same thing over and over again all the way down to row 10. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to click right here, okay, and it may not be obvious, but that's not a number. If you double click, you can see here that's a formula, and it's the same formula that you see in the formula bar. So it really doesn't make a difference if you type here or you type inside the cell, it is the same thing. Let me press escape on my keyboard, okay. I'm going to come to the lower right hand corner, click and hold, and just drag it down. Okay, now if you're wondering what just happened there, well, let's go to the last row here, double click, okay, and you can see that the B4 multiplied by C4 changed to B10 multiplied by C10. That's what happens when Excel or Google Sheets copies a formula. It tries to guess what you want, and most of the time it will guess correctly, but sometimes it will guess incorrectly, and we'll figure out how to solve that problem very soon. So let's hit escape, okay, and if you have any doubt at all, just go ahead and multiply it out. 10 pounds multiplied by 3 gives you 30 British pounds. Let's go on to question D. So we're in column F here. We want to calculate the total price by subtracting the discount from the subtotal. So let's take a close look here. We now want to figure out the total here, and how is that done? Well, you take the subtotal. So for example, elastic bands, 44, subtract 880, and that will give you the subtotal. So we'll start at the top. Always begin with an equal sign, okay? Click on 20 pounds, and then what you're going to do is you're going to subtract the discount. In the first row, that discount is 0, but it doesn't really make a difference, okay? Calculates it correctly. So when we copy that cell down, and to copy, you just drag and pull down the lower right corner, okay, and then we get a little verification there, or okay, that tells us we did it correctly. Okay, so that's just the warm-up exercise that gets you started with Google Sheets or Excel. Before we go on to the next exercise, I want to show you something that a lot of people tend to miss. It's the autofill options. When you carry out an action in a spreadsheet, there could be different meanings. In this case, we wanted to copy the content of the cell, but maybe we didn't want to copy the content. Maybe we wanted to do something else. So we're going to be returning to these autofill options, but for now, be aware of it because it's very easy to miss.